original raison d'etre of Cannes in the 1940s was to seek a few more viewers for the kind of movies which already had critical cachet. These days, the thinking has reversed to such an extent that movies designed to make money, such as Troy, Kill Bill 2 and Shrek 2, come here to try to raise their reputation with reviewers. And so one of America's most bankable actors, Tom Hanks, this week made his first ever trip to Cannes to promote the Ladykillers. In contrast, the directors, the Coen brothers, know the festival well. They won awards here for Barton Fink, Fargo and The Man Who Wasn't There. But this movie is also a first for them, their debut remake. The original 1955 Ladykillers starred Alec Guinness as a con man plotting a theft from a rented room in an old lady's house. Okay.
That's okay, don't stop on account of me.
The Ladykillers version by the Coen brothers. Tom Paulin, post-war London becomes the American South now. Alec Guinness becomes Tom Hanks. Does it gain or lose in translation?
Well, I don't have the reverence I think you have for the original. I think this is a huge improvement. Absolutely wonderful. It's a political film. It takes on the United States in all its narcissism. So Tom Hanks is representing the Enlightenment. He's Washington and Jefferson, the Constitution, and then the rest of the gang are typical Americans of different classes and races, and it's a criminal enterprise they're engaged in. And at one point there's a great scene involving explosives which just made me fall about with laughter. I found it so funny, so anarchic. And then there's this wonderful running joke about Bob Jones University where the black woman is going to wants to give money to it, and Bob Jones University, which I visited once to do research its connection with Reverend Ian Paisley, who has an honorary degree from it. It's an all-white university, and so it's hitting that sort of apartheid consciousness in evangelical Protestantism absolutely accurately.
And indeed, that detail, Julie, that gives a sense of the extent to which they have Americanized it. All the characters very different. I loved the football player who can actually barely speak. I thought was a fine invention, but you're looking doubtful.
Well, no, like Tom, I had no reverence for the original because I didn't really know about the original. I mean, I said I'd vaguely heard of it. So I watched it not even really knowing it was a remake of anything, and I thought, what a lame, bland film, full of boy jokes and farting and explosions. And I tried to laugh because I felt like I ought to be laughing. I couldn't. Then I saw the original, and I now know why it doesn't work. It's because the original is funny, because it's a quiet British comedy of manners. We've got an old lady who's constantly coming upstairs saying, "Are you sure you don't want a cup of tea?" And then coming back and saying, "Are you absolutely sure?" While these bank robbers are trying to keep her out of the room. That is funny, and that made me laugh. In this one, the old lady it's fine to change her into this black southern lady, but it doesn't work. She's too much like the bank robbers. It's a loud film.
Julie.
Oh no.
No. It's become a modern comedy of manners in which the fantastic thing, every single character has their own different vocal registers. So you have the high academic style of Tom Hanks, you have the old lady speaks in one way, you have the footballer who can barely speak at all, and it's beautifully written in that way, I thought, and I think perhaps I was worried about losing bladder control. It was so funny, but
I'm sorry, listen, I'm with Julie on this, and I think you hit the nail absolutely on the head when you mentioned the farting jokes. I think any movie that relies on a character having loss of bowel control is floundering around. Here's the problem.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Absolutely, irritable bowel syndrome, which is not funny.
No.
Here's the problem. Okay, fine. I don't have an enormous reverence for the original, though obviously, I have seen it. If it wasn't a Coen brothers movie, if it wasn't a remake of actually a very good and very hardy British comedy, if you didn't know anything, you might say, okay, fine, it's a quirky, occasionally entertaining, offbeat comedy. The fact is, with the pedigree it has, it is way below what it ought to be. It descends all too often into what it considers to be broad humour. I mean, honestly, I was sitting near Tom when Tom laughed when the guy blows up the explosive, and I thought Tom's head was going to fall off as well. And what was more entertaining for me was how much Tom was enjoying the joke.
I didn't laugh easily.
No, Tom, absolutely.
There are tremendous jokes. The character with irritable bowel syndrome, the really funny joke is he has this girlfriend called Mountain Girl, and it goes on from that. Tom Paulin, help me defend this fantastic comedy.
Well, I just thought it had this wonderful anarchy in it, and at the same time it was saying this is a totally anarchic country, and we're practicing what we're brought up to practice. And as I say, the running joke about Bob Jones University, which nobody else will get outside the north of Ireland,
not enough,
really fascinated me. But I was helpless.
I think we're going to stop
laughter.
there. Tom's suggesting it's only people interested in the Reverend Ian Paisley. I have to say that I thought it's a fantastic film. Anyway, sometimes a modern art exhibition